Hello again and welcome back to the Tournament of the Old World, the penultimate round, as we have here Jeffrey the referee in his Bumblebee-inspired colour scheme, hiding behind a tree once again, as he says we are a go-go for the round here, featuring Oxyotl taking on the forces of Tiktaq'to. I don't know who came up with that. They deserve to be slapped. So, Oxyotl's forces first. He's bringing with him a Skink cohort. And, Skink cohort? Light infantry skirmishers. Cudgel infantry. They're, decent early units. You got some red-crested skinks, which, as we know, we see these quite regularly. They're two-handed weapons. Effective. The most effective unit he will be bringing to this fight are the Sacred Croctogols. We've seen these before. They are a incredibly awesome-looking unit. One of my favourites in the Lizardmen lineup. Croctogols look awesome. There's Oxyotl himself, he's the main one, hiding there in the tall grass, alongside a unit of Lizardman hunting pack. Now, this is a slightly different Lizardman pack that you saw in the previous one. These ones are a ranged version, but they're a monstrous missile beast. We've also seen the return of the Coatl. I believe Oxyotl did bring the Coatl with him in his first round. He's got taking a shine to that giant bird creature. Another unit of red-crested skinks backed by a Bastillodon with the solar engine. We've seen this. It's an artillery monster, but the AI insists on running it straight into the fight rather than using its laser cannon on its back to do big damage, and a unit of feral cold ones. Honestly, not too impressed with feral cold ones. They don't seem to do a lot of work on the battlefield. But over across here, over by old Tiktaq'to's forces, he's bringing with him in the skirmish line a unit of chameleon skinks and some skink skirmishers. He's got his own artillery monster here in the form of an ancient salamander. We've seen these do really good work in the first round in the Master Monday battle, so hopefully it will perform well enough there again. Some Saurus warriors with shields, good frontline units, backed by a feral Bastillodon. Now, this is a creature that you do just throw straight into the fight. You wait for it to go crazy, and it just does a lot of damage to the enemy. Some more Saurus warriors, backed by some more Saurus warriors with shields. On the flank there, the Skink cohort, and at the back we've got Horned Ones, which are a elite cavalry unit for the Lizardmen. Honestly, looking at this lineup, backed by a Skink chief, and obviously Tiktaq'to himself is mounted this time. He's decided to take to the skies on his own pet pterodon. I'm honest. I'm just going to go with it being Tiktaq'to. I don't think Oxyotl's force are strong enough. I don't know if they have the numbers. This looks like a pretty solid army over here across from him, and he's got a very wide, very thin line of troops, whereas, I mean, his army is 3 deep. Look at it. Tiktaq'to's got it all sorted out, and that ancient salamander, this is a creature that will actually stay put and fling exploding bile at things. It's not going to be like the solar engine over there, which is probably going to fire a single shot and then it's going to get charged in because the AI is off its rocker. But at the moment, most of his force is shrouded in a stealth-creating mist by the Coatl there. It is a flying support monster, but it is very powerful, able to cast spells. We may even see it cast a couple of spells. In fact, speak of the devil, oh, Oxyotl just killed a couple of skinks, and there's a spell there. Blast, oh, zapping quite a lot of them. Ball lightning zooming across the floor. The ancient salamander quite rightly getting out of the way of that. Does not want to get shocked, while the skink skirmishers decided that they'd run back into the ball lightning. Not a smart idea on their parts, as Tiktaq'to decides he's had enough of this, and he's now going to engage the Coatl in one-on-one combat. Being a legendary lord, he's got a good chance of beating that monster, but that fight looks like it's going to develop for a while. The Lizardman hunting pack, despite being a ranged missile creature, has decided to get within the skirmish line at on the melee level, and indeed has been engaged in combat with Saurus warriors. And you can see their hit points dropping rather quickly, because it's not a unit that's supposed to be getting into the fight. We don't know what the AI is doing. Oh, it's the horned one stretch. Whoa, let's see how many skinks went flying. They aren't built for that kind of impact. They're just the skinks flying everywhere. Alright, they're not dead, granted. They just went for a bit of a Burton, rolled over on the back of their neck a few times, and just got back and got straight into the fight. As the horned ones run back, doing the smart thing here, charging in, pulling back, going in for a second charge. The Skink cohort, though, of Tiktaq'to are indeed fleeing. They are on the retreat as the two red-crested... Oh, sorry, not the red-crested skink and the Skink cohort managed to force them to flee as they now get into combat here with the Saurus warriors with shields. Coatl still duking it out over here with Tic-Tac-Toe right above. It's rather cinematic little view here as we've got these two flying creatures having a fight and a huge ground battle going on all around them. Oxyotl's committed the sacred Croxagores to the fight. And over on the other flank, it's not looking too good for Oxyotl's forces. His Bastillodon, the solar engine, did indeed decide to get involved in the fight. Not a good idea. While the feral Bastillodon, on the other hand, is doing exactly what it's meant to do, and it has gone into a rampage. It's out of control and is now attacking the red-crested skink. It's going to cause a lot of damage very quickly. And the red-crested skinks are also in trouble because they're getting harassed by the chameleon skinks that have a very high rate of fire. And it looks like Tic-Tac-Toe has managed to force the Coatl to retreat temporarily. He has taken a lot of hit points in damage himself here from the Coatl, but he's basically tying up a very powerful asset here of Oxyotl's forces. Oxyotl himself, to be honest, he just seems to be vibing. He's not doing much else. He's just sat there. I don't know if he's accidentally inhaled one of the drugs that uses to poison the blowpipe darts, because he's not very active. Oh, he's moving away now that there are enemies nearby. Oh, we've got a couple of shots off just as he ran there. Didn't see the animation. Not sure if Jeff's going to have to review that. Maybe there'll be a penalty applied to Oxyotl at the end of the round if he were to win. We don't know. That kind of cheating is not allowed here at the tournament in the old world, but we'll see what Jeff says. His word is indeed final. Even McCracken doesn't want to argue with Jeff when he's made a decision. The Coatl is starting to lose more and more hit points. Its morale is dwindling away. Tic-Tac-Toe, very high morale. He's not been affected at all. The Ancient Salamander is now... it did get into the fight at one point, but it looks like it's going to stay put. Oh, no, hold on. It's had enough of Oxyotl's shit. It's going for him. No, it changed its mind, and... nope, it's lost. Maybe it's hungry, we don't know. It might be looking for its food. It might be dinner time. Nope, it's decided again. It's going to go for Oxyotl, and by the looks of it, Oxyotl's forces are on the retreat. The Sacred Croxagores have lost a decent number of their number. It's sad, really. I do like the Croxagores, and I hope that they have actually put the work in and gotten the kills to justify their rather high cost. They are not a cheap unit to bring into the fight, and indeed Oxyotl has been engaged in combat by the Ancient Salamander. The Ancient Salamander probably won't win this fight. Yeah, I'd be surprised. Even though Oxyotl is a range specialist legendary lord, he is still a legendary lord. He gets a lot of buffs, and he also has some abilities he's got working on, Slippery being one of them, so he gets an increased melee defense, which is perfect, because he doesn't want to be taking hits from a giant salamander that can spit a corroding explosive bile. Meanwhile, the feral Bastillodon chasing off what's left of the red-crested skinks, and overall, Tic-Tac-Toe's forces, I would say, have won the field. I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff calls it there, to be honest. Because Oxyotl, I don't think, is going to stay on the field for much longer. His morale is rapidly depleting, and he is going to flee the field alongside whatever slashes of the forces. Yep, there goes the Lizardman pack, the red-crested skink. This is over. Jeff has got to call it at this point. There's no sudden win. This isn't going to be a Croc-Gar against Master Monday. There it is. And short but sweet. So we see the two forces were very different in size. 486 for Oxyotl, 722 for Tic-Tac-Toe. Just on numbers alone, you would say that it was already a foregone conclusion. Kills, Oxyotl did indeed get 26. Not that many, considering he's supposed to be a pretty good lord for ranged attacks. One of his units of red-crested skinks got 0 kills. His best performing unit was indeed the Sacred Croxagores, followed not too far behind by the Coatl. Over on the other side with Tic-Tac-Toe, who, much like Croc-Gar in the previous round, also didn't get any kills, but he did perform the key task of keeping that Coatl busy. The rest of his forces generally did alright given the number of enemies there were, but the Ancient Salamander was the MVP of his force with 107 kills, so a very good performance there by Tic-Tac-Toe, which sets up our final of Croc-Gar versus Tic-Tac-Toe. Such an awful name for a Lizardman hero, but we'll see what happens in the final. Until then, have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.